Happy to meet you here and welcome to Jakarta to all Jefferson Fellows. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your stay in Jakarta. My name is Sierra. I'm from Stara Institute. I serve as the researcher on freedom of religion and belief. Stara Institute is one of the oldest NGOs in the issue of freedom of religion and belief in Indonesia. We have been monitoring the cases of violations of freedom of religion and belief since 2007, and we have been continuing to do so annually. So we produce reports on the violations of FORB. I will share some of the Star Institute data on what are our biggest issues of violations of FORB, and I'll try to be concise to have more time to discuss. So first is we see like the number of blasphemy cases is skyrocketing. In the authoritarian regime, we only have around 9 or 10 cases. But after the Reformation era, when the authoritarian regime ended and we started to have democracy, it has risen to 163 cases. Several things what are considered blasphemy are very it varies. Mostly it occurs when minorities have different interpretations from the majority, and also second is also when the majority feels that their religious feelings are offended. So those are the two most common issues of blasphemy in the country. And next is also places of worship disturbance. We see the number of cases of places of worship disturbance is also rising in the last 6 years. And what we call as disturbance is when it is hard for places of worship, particularly minorities, to get the permission to build their places of worship. And when the places of worship are also sealed or destroyed by the intolerant groups or also by the government officials. And next is we want to know like who becomes the most targeted victims. So next slide, please. So most of the place of worship disturbed occurs the church with 281 cases from 2007, since the first time Stara Institute monitored the violations of FORB, to 2022, and then followed by mosques. And this mosque usually is minority mosques like Shia or Ahmadiyya mosque, or like mainstream Muslim mosques, but they are minorities compared to like the surrounding denominations. And those are the two biggest trends of FORB that we can see from Stara Institute data. And then what are the challenges of FORB? First is we see trends of homogenization, labeling others as deviant or misguided. This is very common to our Ahmadiyya friends. Like we have a council of ulama here in Indonesia that produce fatwa, and then the fatwa is a religious opinion by the Muslim scholars, and then they explicitly mention that Ahmadiyya is misguided, and then this becomes justification for many groups to persecute Ahmadiyya. And we also see like trends like our Shia friends who were forced to be Sunni in East Java. This is also like examples of how homogenization occurs in the country. And also blasphemy, we see like the trends blasphemy is rising year by year, and this also shows the trends of homogenization, how the majority wants minority to have the same interpretation to them. And also hijab bullying is also very, very common. Right now, like Muslim women in the country, we see more of them like wearing hijab, and then it's very, very concerning how we have like at least 48 government regulations forcing Muslim women to wear hijab. This occurs at public schools or like civil servants working in the government. They are forced to wear hijab, and like the consequences are very severe. they feel like traumatized because they don't want to wear hijab, but they are forced. Like the teachers force them to wear hijab. They can cut the hair as a punishment, or they can like cut the skirt. They can do anything because of like power relations to students. And like we have one big case last year when non-Muslim women in Padang, West Sumatra province, were also forced to wear hijab. They are non-Muslims, but they are also forced to wear hijab. And then right now, we like the public aren't informed what is the follow-ups of this issue, but like the civil society networks are informed by the victims that they want to move to another province because stigma is very strong in the province. They cannot leave because they are boycott. So like stigma because his daughter was forced to wear hijab, and then like the surrounding people still have the stigma towards people who don't wear hijab, so they cannot live in the province anymore. They need to move to another province. And then like falling grades, this is also like an example occurring to this is also an example occurring to Christian minorities, to Jehovah Witness in Kalimantan, because they are minority in the Christian denomination. They are considered as misguided, and then they don't want to like this to the flag, Indonesian flag, and then they are considered as not having the sense of nationality. And then why they don't want to do this to the flag is because they think it's bertentangan with the teachings of their religion, and because they also don't want to sing Christian songs. Christian teacher at the school, they think, oh, you are not Christian because you don't want to sing Christian songs. So trends of homogenization is really strong in recent years. And we can move to the next slide. So this also the challenge religious harmony. Like our government has the perspective of promoting religious harmony instead of religious freedom. So these two are very different. When we talk about harmony, it's a majority. It's we want to we don't want to have conflict. So, but in conflict is very normal actually. If it happens, then how we manage conflict? But our government doesn't want to have conflict. So when, for example, like the case of Yasmin Church, when people surrounding the church, they reject the church building, the government moved the church. So in like the perspective of religious freedom, it contradicts with like the rights of people to build the church. They should be free to build it everywhere, but because of the rejection, they are forced to build it elsewhere. So this is very common. Like government, they just want to prevent conflict and suppress minority. And next is discriminatory regulations. Mr. Sasmito already explained about it before. According to the National Commission on Violence Against Women, the number of discriminatory regulations continues to rise, although it decreases a bit from 2016 to 2022. But overall, we can see it's rising. And it's also about local governments, because here we have autonomy. Local governments can produce their own regulations, and then oftentimes it contradicts with religious freedom, because they are identity politics. They also want to win like constituencies. They produce regulations that will attract support. And also problems in law enforcement. We see like victims, they don't get justice. In Chikasik case, Ahmadiyya, in 2005 or 2006, they were persecuted. Some of them were killed, but the victims, Ahmadiyya followers, were also imprisoned. They are victims, but they were put in prisons. That was very weird, but that also happens in the country because our government is also afraid of potential backlash, so they also put in prison the victims. And also in several other cases, like Ahmadiyya, when the mosque is destroyed, the perpetrators are only put in prison for like 4 months or 5 months. It's very like light sentence that don't give like a sense of justice for the victims. And next, it's also a problem of leadership. We see when a province or a city has a good leader, a strong leader who is courageous, they have a good regulations. But when the province or cities, they have like governors or mayors, they are lenient, they bend to the pressure from like, intolerant groups, that this happens a lot. And this is quite a new trend when we compare like to the early 2000s. Usually like the intolerant groups, they act intolerantly. It's a direct violence, like they kill other minorities, they demonstrate, and they do it with their hands. But right now they push the government to do so by like producing discriminatory regulations. So this is why from the Strike Institute data we can see the trends is that local governments becomes the most dominant actor who restricts the freedom, because they listen to these intolerant groups, because they want to get support, so they listen to this group. And it's also very heartbreaking when we see like the stories from the victims, like Shia in Bandung City, West Java. There is a school, it's not a Shia school, but the founder is Shia. But it's open to all religions, and it's not teaching Shia, but hoaxes spread it, like, oh, this school is teaching Shia, you need to be careful, don't send your children to this school. And then this is why like many policies are sent to this school. They bring like weapons or like tameng, they bring it, and like when people around the school ask why you bring the tameng, sorry, shield, yeah, shield, okay, that's in English we call it shield. Why you bring the shield? Because it's peaceful, no conflict at all, but the police bring the shield. And then they only respond, oh, I don't know, we don't know, because we only follow the leaders. So this shows that leaders has a very important role in promoting for. If we have good leader, then the action and then the regulation will also promote for. Okay. Okay, I think that's the end, but I'll add one more, like the challenges to promote FORB is, this is also based on Sarah Institute research and CSIS, like a think tank in Indonesia. Like mostly our security apparatus is, they commit violation by omission. They, when the discrimination or conflict happens, they are very passive. They don't try to be active in preventing the conflict. So when we see like the mass, they are running to burn the Ahmadiyya mosque, the police, instead of like trying to prevent it, they just stay silent, they just stand still and then bring the shield. So it shows how like they are being passive. And yeah, I think that's all. We can have like more time to discuss, and I'll give it back to